Hello there, friends, and welcome to another video. So if you'll have watched my first introduction video, you'll know a lot about how I started testosterone on the 18th of November, which was, you know, a good and spicy time. I'm now 1 month, well, it's the 18th in 3 days, which means 1 month tea update. I'm recording it for you now. So I have this handy little book with me that details some of the changes my partner got at me. Look how cute this is, right? It says peace, love, and happiness. Or at least I think it... Yeah, peace, love, and happiness. Which I've decided to keep a diary of all of my different little changes that have come in the last few days. Shaky camera because I haven't yet managed to invest in a tripod. I'm extremely poor and I'm trying to do this with as basic equipment as I can, so you must forgive me. These videos will be like this for the next month or so. So, not to delay, I think we shall start with face shape. I will put 2 different photos of like me pre-transition and me a month on testosterone right here, and you can compare like for yourselves whether or not you think that that's any change. Just from looking at myself without looking at photos of when I first transitioned, I do think my cheeks have thinned out ever so slightly, but that is not for me to say, that is for you to say. Okay, number 2, hair. It's fucking everywhere. Like, there's no running away from it. It's, so my hair's changed texture for the most part. Like, the hair on my head is a little bit curlier than it used to be. I don't really have any photos of my hair pre-transition. I didn't take a lot of photos before I started testosterone, simply because I just didn't want to, be seen in the way that I was. But yeah, my hair changed texture. It went from being like this stupid frizzy wavy combo to like kind of slightly curly. However, you know, it's not the one.
So my granddad went bald at 18 and I've just started testosterone, and whilst my hair is a lot curlier, I'm relatively concerned that I can see more and more of my scalp as I'm getting out of the shower these days, and if my granddad has passed me on those cursed genes, then I'm going to actually yeet all of his inheritance. Okay, cool. Bye.
Change number 3. Let's find it in here. This is my book. This is my book, everybody. I'm so fucking organized. Right. Muscle build. Oh boy. Muscle build has been... I'm getting stronger. There's no doubt about that. I can do push-ups for the first time, so, you know, that's interesting. I remember talking to the nurse about it. I never actually got to film my injection in the end because I just put the phone down on the desk because I wasn't allowed to film the nurse who was doing it.
If it hurt a little bit,
Yeah. It's all good.
I said this last time, it's really thick and gluey, this stuff, so it takes a bit of...
I saw, yeah. It's alright when the needle's in, it's just when it comes out. I feel a lot stronger as well.
Really?
Yeah, like I was, we're in the middle of like moving house because like half of our stuff's upstairs. So like I ended up taking like 2 massive shopping bags full of like tins, a blender and stuff, a guitar and a bin, like in just 2 arms, and I could not have managed that. And I did my first push-up in like ever. I've never been able to do push-ups.
Wow.
So
it's going to be worth the pain.
Oh, pain is beauty, you know?
What did you do it for?
17th of January 2001.
You had to think about that, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Perfect, so we're going to go right in here.
Whoa. That didn't even hurt.
Did it not?
Oh.
I'm trying to just go nice and slow, just because like you can see it, it's just thick and gluey.
Yeah. To be honest, it doesn't kind of hurt as long as I look at it. Because it's like, you know it's coming.
Yeah, I suppose you know kind of what's going on.
Yeah.
There you go. Now that's just some of it coming out again. That's really good. Let me just get you a plaster.
So I forgot to add that that was not my first shot of Nebido, it was my second shot of Sustanon. Because of my age, my testosterone blood levels need to be at a certain range. So I got 2 injections, so that I filmed my second injection because I couldn't film my first. So I just thought I'd clarify that for you all. Alright, sweet, back to the video. But there haven't really been a lot of definitive, like, when I squeeze my biceps, I know that they're thicker and I know it's muscle because it doesn't jiggle, but because I am that, like, because I just don't exercise and exist off chicken burgers, I'm not unconsciously unhealthy. I'm just autistic and I have really bad issues like being able to try new foods. So hear me out. But, you know, there's not been a lot of definitive results because I've not been exercising. However, this has been changing. I've been to the gym 3 times in this week. So we're doing bits. So I'm able to sort of carry out more exercise in that regard. So I've been doing a lot more with that because, well, the revolution's coming. The general election was a fucking shit show. 4, fat build. Okay, fat build. You want to know something? I've put on 12 pounds since I started tea a month ago, and look at this fucking zit. Although in fairness, it's the only pimple I've had the entire time. I've been really lucky with clear skin. But I've put on 12 pounds since starting tea. But for anybody who's watching thinking, oh my god, I'm gonna put so much weight on during tea. No, honey, it's not that. I eat too much crap. I have really bad problems being like fussy eating as an autistic person. So if something tastes good to me and it's something that like sticks in my head that I know I want, then that's the only thing I'll eat, and that's why I'm constantly in fast food chains. But I never exercise, which I'm trying to fix because I love dad bods, but I'm getting to the point where I now have a morbidly obese dad bod, and it's not the one. The weight gain says a lot more about my shitty eating habits than it ever does about what testosterone can make you do. So try not to worry about that. Okay, number 5. Let's find where number 5 is. I'm fucking starving all the damn time. Like, I'm really bad for not eating during the day. I'll freely admit that. However, what am I meant to do exactly when my antidepressant meds make me hungry and then testosterone makes me hungry, and because I don't eat in the mornings, I just absolutely, like, I turn into, is it Kirby, the Pokemon that like eats everything in sight even though he's like fucking tiny? Like well, he's not tiny. I'm like a beach ball sized version of Kirby. 6. Right, so 6 is a little bit of a delicate one. So they like to call it, in the transgender community, they like to call it bottom growth. Now, most people can find this a little bit gross, and I am going to go into detail about it because I think it's important for anybody who's about to start testosterone to know what to expect. Because when my partner went to the doctors to discuss going on hormones, this wasn't even mentioned. I am, of course, talking about genitalia. Yeah. How do I put this without getting demonetized? My lower area has grown way quicker than I thought it was going to. It's not by much, but it's just like noticeably enough, and I didn't expect it to be that fast. I was noticing changes about a week or so after I'd first got my first T-shot, and so was my partner, and it was just one of the weirdest things. There's not a lot to report on that. Category 7, mood. So, since starting testosterone, I felt... So, this might be skewed due to the fact that I started new antidepressants about a week ago. I was on 30 milligrams of metrazapine, and I'm now on 45 milligrams of metrazapine. Can you hear my voice breaking? This is happening more and more. I love it. But yeah, since starting T, I've been a lot more productive and organised, and I'm a very firm believer in the idea that having the wrong hormones in your body is basically the equivalent of being depressed and not being on antidepressants. Because when I finally got testosterone, I felt like motivation and energy and relentlessness that I just never ever experienced before. And I was getting to that point. I've suffered with mental health issues for 6 years, specifically like periods of being either like hyperexcitable or on the floor depressed, and it's very interesting to see how excuse me, I need a glass of water. But it's very interesting to see how my mood shifted, because I was put on these new medications way after I was on testosterone. So I think it has a lot to do with it. And then, yeah. What else have I written here? Since starting T, I've been a lot more productive and organised. I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I had the wrong hormones in my body, which worsened my ability to react to stressful situations, made worse by the fact that I'm autistic. But, and this is a lovely thing that I've written for myself, and it's definitely true, I can actually see a future for myself as a man for the first time, because I'm starting to get addressed more as male in public, and I'm embarking on different teaching courses. So I did, it wasn't a course, Unite the Union do this program called Uniting Schools, which is essentially where they get union reps and they get them to talk they get union volunteers and get them to talk to school children about protest movements and unions and why they're important. And I went to 2 this week, and it was one of the most incredible experiences of my life. We all had to read this fake letter out to them, basically saying that their lunch break had been cut in half, and 2 months ago I would not have had the anxiety or the confidence to do that, and it just felt so refreshing to finally be able to like pass as male vaguely, or at least have somebody ask, what's your gender, before referring to me as she. Like, oh, the gender euphoria, it's real. And okay, category 8, so this is voice. My voice will keep breaking and will continue to keep breaking. It broke it always feels like I've got something stuck in my chest, but I don't smoke anymore. So that's kind of being like, when did I last have a cigarette? What the fuck is this? It's just literally, it kind of feels like when you've got a cold, you know, and your voice, you start to get that frog in the throat feeling, but I'm getting it more and more, and I'm just waiting for my voice to kind of crack so that it goes lower. And everybody around me is saying that it doesn't sound lower, but the pitch to me and other people's pitches, like, I perceive sounds to be lower than they actually are, and I don't know if that's just a quirk of me or something that happens to everybody on testosterone. And if you could let me know in the comments, that'd be sweet as a nut. But yeah, that's my 1 month update, and I'm very, very glad that you took this opportunity to you subscribed, and that you've taken an interest in trans issues, because that's amazing. Thank you very much. And I've forgotten one thing. The one thing is that on the 6th of December, I received a phone call from Leeds Gender Identity Clinic. So Leeds Gender Identity Clinic were the place that were supposed to be, like, well, I say supposed to be, they still are. They're the ones saying about how I needed to, what's the word? Lose weight, because my BMI is like 35.1. I know, I'm 5'7" and 220 pounds, it's not great. I'm working on it, I'm going to the gym. So they said I needed to lose weight before they did anything for surgery. I was fine with that. I'd been clean off, like, I used to have a problem with alcohol and drug addiction. Well, not alcohol addiction, but I used to have a problem with prescription painkiller addiction, and I am a year clean off that. So they were more than happy to treat me, and they basically said that the waiting list, just to get assessed for just to get assessed by a doctor as having gender dysphoria before you can actually get treatment, that will take 2.5 years. And then the referral waiting list for NHS top surgery is then another 2.5 years. And I'm not exactly sure what the fuck I'm meant to do about it, because I unfortunately do not have I don't have a low enough pain tolerance to just yeet my tits out of the window and get them off with scissors. Like, I don't know what to do, because I've looked into it privately and it's like 40,000 grand, and I'm not really, please don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to ask for money. I had no idea the system was that bad, because all that telephone conversation existed of was how what's your weight, are you allergic to anything, what are your mental health conditions, which I can't actually be that open about, because if I am open about it, they won't treat anybody with unstable mental health. A referral of mine earlier this year got rejected because I was self-harming, which is fair enough. But it does make me a little bit anxious going to the doctors to tell them about my worsening mental health. And I do think that I do have some symptoms of post-traumatic stress. I'm not going to say diagnosis, because I've obviously not been diagnosed, but I do need that I do need that kind of help for that I'm not getting. And I think I'm going on a bit of a ramble, but at the end of the day, don't be disheartened, and if you can afford to get it privately, and I never thought I'd say this in my million years of life, get it done. It matters more to me that whoever's watching this who is in the closet or about to transition and don't know how can actually transition and feel comfortable in their own bodies. Forgot to film an outro, and yes, I am wearing glasses. I know, look. They're from Specsavers. They were for free. I love the NHS. So yeah, thank you very much. Thank you so much for watching and taking the time to watch this ridiculously long video, and I will see you in the next update, or whenever that may be. Alright, ciao.